this is before we pack our bags. This with this series, I'm mostly tackling urban, urban current affairs topics that and the news stuff that's popular, stuff that is like really pop social phenomena, anything that is capturing the minds of a lot of people is probably going to be covered on this series here. And before we pack our bags, it's basically like this. It's the idea that before we die, before we leave this earth, I think it's important for people, especially from a Christian background, to have their input, to have their say, to be able to provide a biblical, not even biblical, but just to provide their a perspective, and for us to understand, not to be right, not to be. It's not about being right or wrong, but mostly it's to come and share our opinions and our understanding of situations with our relationship with God. I think that would be really cool to see. And that comes to today's topic, which is a question is when did the idea of America die for you? When did that idea die? Um when did America stop being the paradise that you had in your mind? And for me this is coming from like childhood. Like growing up, America was like it was the place. America was the place because that's what everything was telling you from TV to movies to music. Everything was like everything. It was ingrained in all of us that once you reach a certain level, that is like the goal. Your goal is to move to America, to settle there, and once you're there, you're going to make as much money as you can, and you're going to enjoy life. Exactly. That was that was like literally it. Once you get to America, you're going to enjoy life. And with the idea of when did the idea of America die for you? For me, this is coming from the Israel and Palestine war, where I feel like for a lot of people that was the first time when the idea of America died for them, especially with like the current protests happening with students and just the scale at which Israel attacked is attacking and is still attacking Palestine, and with the way that America is condoning those actions by still sending arms and all of that, and seeing how the government is like making excuses and creating all sorts of double standards. I think this was like one of the first times when we look at America, and it's not favorable for a lot of people, where you are looking at them as honestly a problem, honestly, and a place where you are trying to avoid, actively avoid, for one of the first times. Um, when did the idea of America die? For me, I think it happened in 2021. 2021, what happened in 2021? 2021, I started getting into documentaries. Started watching stuff like Vice, started watching Channel 4 News. And I feel like those, before then, I had such a sheltered view of the world. I wasn't really, I didn't really have a good, firm understanding of how unfair the world is. And when you start getting into documentaries that really like just uncover how terrible this world is, it really really it honestly there's no going back. Like once your eyes are open, there's no going back. And we see that now with how things like politics, and you looking at there's a cost to there's a cost, or sorry, there's a human cost to every action. And for some people it's they're willing to pay that cost, they're willing to allow a group of innocent people to die. And that was like that's really really sad to see, but it's sobering because you kind of like your value as a person, your value as what you believe in, it's it's challenged when you see things like that. When you go on the news and you see people who are like who are using rhetoric like human animals and destroying and just viewing everyone as a terrorist, and it just breaks that. Makes you question so much about yourself and also the world. And I think as we're coming into this new this is a new era definitely of how of warfare, of just life in general. And it's a very easy time to lose hope. And I think to lose hope, it's a very easy time to feel that people are not, that there's what is it, that the love of men is growing cold. That the love of men is growing cold, and it's just so easy to see that. And yeah, before you pack our bags, well, what's one thing that you wish you what is one thing you wish you could leave behind before you pack our bags? What is one thing you wish you could leave behind? And for me, I think it's empathy. I think that's the one thing I would leave behind. Empathy. I'd leave behind empathy. I think that's one of like, if we're gonna focus on this, yeah, let's focus on this issue, right? It's like Israel Palestine issue. I would say empathy is one of like the is one thing I would leave behind before we pack our bags. That's what we're lacking on both sides, because on both sides, not just on whichever side you think is right. On both sides, empathy is the one thing that I'd leave behind. Yeah, this is a short episode, so I'll just end it there. But it's more like a concept, and hopefully it's we continue to grow and just continue to flesh these episodes out into like longer format. But for now, yeah, what do you guys think about it? What did you leave behind in this issue? Right, peace.